Well, to talk about this, let's bring in Behnam Ben Taleblu, Senior Fellow at the Foundation for Defense of Democracies, which is a nonpartisan policy institution. Behnam, Iran's oil minister says President Trump is politicizing and weaponizing oil, and that's, quote, a bad mistake for America. Is that what's happening here, or has Iran made its own bed in a sense?
Great to be with you all. And it's just important to note that there's always been a predicate for the pressure that the U.S. or the international community has levied against the leadership of the Islamic Republic of Iran. No one, in fact, in the past 40 years has weaponized oil more so than the Iranians, because anytime the Iranians harass vessels, be they civilian or military, in the Persian Gulf and Strait of Hormuz, oil values go up, Brent goes up, and of course Iran benefits by getting more money for the same amount of oil it exports. So that's the first point. Second, I would just say that, yes, the Trump administration is looking to use oil against Iran. We know oil is the lifeblood of the Iranian economy, but towards what end? To get the regime to come back to the negotiating table, to cease its malign behavior abroad, and to ink a genuinely comprehensive deal, not just one on the nuclear issue.
You know, this move to end Iran's sanction exemptions is being criticized by the European Union, an EU spokeswoman expressing regret, saying this is going to damage the international effort to stop Iran from developing nuclear weapons. What are your thoughts on that?
Those are fighting words from the European Union, which, if you look at what they've been doing in the past year and a half, they've been leading international efforts to make sure that no one pays attention to Iran's growing non-nuclear malign activities, and everything has been sacrificed at the altar of preserving and protecting the flawed JCPOA nuclear deal. It's most unfortunate, but it is an understandable position given that the Europeans have sunk 12 years into nuclear diplomacy with Iran, and all they have to show for it is the JCPOA.
Behnam, Iranian legislators widely approved a bill today that labels all U.S. military forces as terrorists, of course, in response to the Trump administration's terrorism designation of the Revolutionary Guard earlier this month. What do you think the impact could be of these designations, especially the one by Iran in the Persian Gulf or beyond?
You know, Iran is keen to show that it can reciprocate, but if you look at Iran's escalation options here, whether it's against listing the IRGC as a foreign terrorist organization or against renewed American sanctions to bring the Iranian economy to a halt and to get the regime to come back to the negotiating table, they have limited options, because if they escalate grossly, if they step out of the boundaries of the deal, if they do something rash against Israel and Syria, if they harass American vessels, they would be inviting a kinetic response in an escalatory cycle that they cannot win. So that's why Iran is escalating the war of words right now, to show that it too can push back, and it wants to be able to respond to every threat with a threat of its own, even though it may not carry some of these out in the short term. In the medium to long term, though, if this battle is protracted, Iran may change its calculus, but right now it's content heating up its rhetoric.
Behnam Ben Taleblu, Senior Fellow at the Foundation for Defense of Democracies, thanks for being here on Crossroads.